From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Empowering Seniors.
Welcome to Empowering Seniors. I'm your host, Katherine Ambrose. What does ice skating and brain science have to do with your health? We're going to find out on this episode. Meet Sheila Thalen. She is a world champion ice skating coach turned, I guess, brain scientist. So she's got some great things to share with you today about how you can improve your health. Sheila, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor. It all ties together.
It's really interesting. So you went from being an ice skater to an ice skating coach, and now you're traveling all over the world talking to people about what you figured out.
So what I figured out from skating is applying world-class sports training, figure skating training, to the general public. Remember the TV show The Biggest Loser?
Yes.
Where they applied world-class sports to the general public, and what a successful, it was a wonderful show, and you really enjoyed the success that the people had achieved. Mm-hmm. Same thing, where we're applying those sports training systems, and it really can benefit everyone with a brain.
How did you figure out that ice skating had kind of a secret edge?
So I was at an event. My figure skating company is actually a very old spinning company. We have harnesses, we have spinners, and I was at an event speaking in Lake Placid. And I'll be honest, I was at the bar with other coaches from other sports, and the gentleman next to me, the coach next to me was a football coach who said, "Oh, I have a problem with dizzy athletes." And I remember vividly standing there and thinking, why? Why would you have dizzy athletes? They're kids, they should never be dizzy. It was weirdly shocking to me, because in figure skating, we never get dizzy. Even the younger skaters, nobody gets dizzy. So that seemed weird to me. So then the next coach over says, "Oh, I have a problem with dumb athletes." And I was like, not figure skaters, they're brilliant. I mean, I have young 8th grade athletes that are taking college trade. The group is incredibly intelligent. So they went around the whole laundry list of problems of coaches. And I looked at them like, no, not a problem, not my problem. I remember thinking, wait a second, what are we doing in the sport of figure skating that's different than every single sport? And the answer came back to spinning.
All right, so spinning. So what have you discovered about the benefit of spinning?
So I spent 5 years manically asking questions of anyone that would listen to me. Doctors, PTs, OTs, anyone that would spend time with me. And we came up with the answer of the vestibular system. And what the vestibular system is this little teeny tiny, they always call it 3 semicircular canals is the best way to describe it. So they're on the insides of your ear. So it would fit in right here with my ear, one on each side. And with that, so my eardrum would lead into the vestibular, and the vestibular would lead out to the cochlea. So you see a lot of children with cochlea implants that are deaf. Mm-hmm. So with that, inside the vestibular system is a little silica hair on the inside of the canals. And on the outside of the canals is what they call crystals, and a little lumpy chunks. And those lumpy chunks belong on the outside. But really, if you ride in a Humvee, or you jog, or you horseback ride, or you have a car accident, those crystals can fall into the canals. And really the feeling is a sense of dizziness, vertigo, it's a sense of confusion. You just can't really process the data coming in out of your eyes and ears. So also within this vestibular system is like a gooey gel. It's gooey. So a lot of times when seniors talk about vertigo, what's really happened is they've got a gel pooling on one side, and the other canals have gone dry. And it's terrifying. You're really crawling for the bathroom for hours, days, weeks, months, some people years. Mm-hmm. And it's actually the number 2 reason to go to the emergency room is dizziness. Number 1 is heart, but number 2 is dizziness.
Wow. And so how large is the vestibular system?
Teeny tiny, like your fingernail.
Wow, okay.
And it's your entire balance system. And it really ties into 25 major factors within your brain. Yet the 4 we talk about the most is, of course, it's your balance system. It's how fast your brain processes the data coming in. So it's cognitive, it's spatial. And the obvious one is for spatial is like fighter pilots and pilots, but also people driving, seniors driving down the road. That's part of your vestibular system, and looking at space and how you're moving within it. But the 4th big factor is sleep.
So sleep is critical. So how does spinning help someone sleep better, think better?
So what we're really doing is moving that gel evenly through the vestibular system. And we're using centrifugal force.
Okay.
With some nice, gentle centrifugal force. We also have exercises on the machine that of moving the head in different ways while you're spinning. So I'm keeping that head moving. And I think people get nervous, especially as they age. They're like, I'll just hold my head still so that I don't get dizzy and I don't feel balance movements. And really keeping the head moving is really key as we age.
I'm really worried about those crystals that you talked about falling into the canal. So tell us a little bit more about crystals and how this could help.
It just gets everything moving, that data moving back and forth faster again. So, and you instantly, people assume that spinning motion will make them feel nauseous or vomit. And really that's not the case at all. The feeling of that vestibular spinning process is a feeling of almost like spidey senses, an alertness, a quickness, a snap to your brain. You feel like you got your act together in a way that you didn't feel prior to.
Well, that's really interesting. So some of this research that you found, how far back does this go in human history?
So I always love to talk about the 5 Tibetan spinning theories. It's a 2,000-year-old theory that if you would spin, they talk about moving clockwise, although counterclockwise is just as easier. With your palms up, spinning at least 8 to 10 turns 3 times a day, you will live a harmonious life. There you go. So we've been spinning for 2,000 years, although we are on a spinning planet that spins around the sun. So with that spinning motion is really a part of our lives without even realizing it.
Probably a couple thousand years ago, they weren't able to prove it through science. It was a theory, but you can prove this today.
You can prove so much today. We use lots of systems, but who we have joining our team, of course, is Dr. Daniel O'Brien, who's our Chief Medical Officer. And with that, it's an opportunity to really have doctors connect to doctors and really support the 54,000 papers that have already been published on vestibular. So really helping us sort through all of that, of course, is Dr. O'Brien.
Fantastic. Well, let's bring Dr. O'Brien into the conversation. Now we're here with Dan O'Brien to talk from the medical perspective. Dr. O'Brien, thank you so much for being here. How did this catch your attention?
Gosh, just my passion around neuroscience and sports medicine and the ability to help everyone of all ages, right? From anyone from ADHD kids to the older seniors. The fact that the vestibular system is one of the most influential neurological systems in the brain is just, it's incredible.
So for the benefit of seniors, can you tell us a little bit more about why it's so important for them?
Yes, well, I think from a kind of from a physics standpoint, from the gravity standpoint, it's always better to be upright than in a sitting position. So the fact that these are some gravity challenging activities to the vestibular system that can really help seniors, and also it can really reset the brain. They can actually, as they're spinning around, it can create that reset of the brain. And I think as we look to further into research, maybe reduce Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and other neurological diseases, that's going to make an incredible, profound impact on seniors.
Wow, how do you think this could help, say, someone that has Parkinson's?
You know, Parkinson's, you have a lower amount of dopamine, and I think the fact that with Parkinson's, this could really help amplify, kind of ramp up a little bit the dopamine to really help improve some of their Parkinson's symptoms. So I think it's really fascinating from almost from a holistic aspect to be able to improve this for those with Parkinson's.
Coming from medicine, this holistic component, how important do you think kind of the whole picture is.
It's absolutely huge. I think that this is where medicine's trending, understanding the whole picture, not always throwing various therapeutics, but really I think from a holistic aspect, getting a sense of the whole body, what that means and how everything is working together. And I think the ability to form synapses, those connections in the brain, is huge, right? It's huge for learning, not only for younger individuals, but also for the aging as well, just to continue to keep those synapses going. And the vestibular training system really helps that.
That is really incredible that something so maybe simple
Yes.
and tiny can make such a big difference in, say, cognitive.
Yes.
So have you witnessed yourself, like people kind of waking up and having a completely different...
Absolutely. I mean, just the fact that sleep really improves, just overall cognition, feeling better throughout the day, having a lot more energy, especially for seniors to be able to play with their grandkids and do the things that they really like to do just because of the influence the vestibular system is having.
So what are other ways, if you don't have access to this kind of equipment, what are other ways to train your vestibular system?
Gosh, I would certainly recommend this. The equipment is just absolutely fantastic, but if there's ways you can kind of create some sort of rotation, I think that centrifugal force, I think, is really key to be able to create that rotation. I think it'd be really crucial. But what I've seen personally and through other people, not only from the professional athletes, but from various gyms, the fact that the vestibular training system that Mrs. Thielen has is just incredible.
So you can see this maybe coming into gyms, and where else?
Yes, I think gyms right now, I think in the military, even looking at pilots too, fighter pilots, just anything that that has that kind of force, that's, especially that gravity force, that'd be very impactful. So I think that's really fascinating. Anywhere, like I said, from the military to professional athletes to children.
Okay, so it's for everybody.
It's for everyone. That's what makes it it's just fantastic. Again, you can have this aspect to be able to really improve that aspect of
And is
life.
this something that maybe seniors could start talking to their physicians and their fitness trainers about, that I want to work on my vestibular system?
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot within the PT clinics, a lot in internal medicine. The fact how profound the vestibular system is, balance, coordination, proprioception is just very influential. And it just, again, improves the overall quality of life.
Wow. And it looks super fun too.
Right.
And so kind of fun for all ages and kind of an excitement level.
Exactly.
And really trying something new. And how does that help people, just like being adventurous and bold and really going out there and experiencing new things?
Exactly. It just goes back to some of the neurotransmitters. The serotonin, right? We know if serotonin's high, that's always a good thing. And dopamine as well. That reward pathway is really influential. So especially those avid athletes, it really helps optimal performance as well. So it kind of creates that great sense of just ability to do things, right? That ability to have better performance.
So I'm thinking about PTSD was mentioned, depression,
Absolutely.
Old injuries. What is it that really can start to improve or reverse some of those injuries?
Yes, it's that reset of the brain. I think it's the reset that's really impactful, right? It's those synapses, it's the communication that those synapses are making in the brain that is certainly helping. I think that's being very, very impactful. So along with the balance, the coordination, the proprioception, all the other great things that are happening. So it's a fascinating science, and this is the direction that we're headed.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for
Yes.
sharing.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for having me.
Now we're going to see it in action. We're back with Sheila. And Sheila, who do you have with you?
I have my mom, Molly, today, who is our lovely demonstrator that's really going to show how gentle the spinning can be. Easy to do, gentle, and once again, no one gets sick from this. The goal is to be gentle. So I'm just going to start her out centering her feet and then moving counterclockwise. This is the easier way to turn. There's a ear dominance that makes this just an easier direction to turn. So she can start out holding on. There's a vibration that comes from her feet through the machine, up through the system, and she can do a midline cross. And that midline cross is getting both sides of her brain to talk to each other. So your right brain controls your left side, your left brain controls your right side, and that midline cross becomes key for both sides of your brain to communicate. She can do eye tracking. So with that, without moving her head, she's just going to track that finger and move it at different points, high, low, left, right, different points on the clock. So then that way, her brain is really having to be active and really work this vestibular system. In addition, I want you to go back to a crisscross here. The head movements, so moving her head all the way up, all the way down, left to right, all of those things are really challenging her balance. So we also talk about standing balance versus sitting balance, two totally different things. And when we talk about learning in children, but also seniors, the standing is different than sitting. So they really are having an active brain while they're standing. There is a mental load, of course, in standing. So she can move on it. Go ahead and do anything you'd like. She does some like nice little yoga moves here. She's got lots of movement, and she just gets better and better on the gear. Improvements in sleep. You notice the sleep improvements the most.
Mostly.
Yeah, so mostly the sleep improvements is what she notices, but she's driving very well. So when we talk about that spatial and her out on the road driving, that's important. So you can improve your balance, and this is just such an easy way to do it.
Fantastic.
So
and
here comes the stop.
what did you think the first time you did it? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I just didn't think it was ever going to do anything. I'll stand here, but why?
So is there a chance I can get a shot at this?
Absolutely. You're next.
Okay, great.
So we'll have Katherine step up, and notice it's very safe. We've got the nice waist belt, easy to adjust, very comfortable, and the fact that you can hold on just makes it feel so safe and comfortable. So starting out counterclockwise, here we go. And you said you wanted to go faster. Here we go.
Okay.
So look at this, nice and lovely. So moving a little faster.
Okay.
Start with a midline cross. And then from there, we can gently start the hand movements. And really that eye tracking becomes really key to the brain in really, it's almost like a medical epile maneuver on steroids. So, but we're not laying on our back, we're not sitting down. She's standing up and having to really focus on that balance as she's doing a dual task. So her brain's working really, really hard in having to make sure that she can still balance through this whole process. In addition, once again, there's that vibration coming through her feet. So it's really continuously closing a loop specifically to her ears, to her feet, and back up to her ears. So balance comes from that vestibular system. It doesn't come from your feet. So here we go. One more turn. Here comes the stop.
Okay.
Here's the stop.
Okay.
So just give it a second.
Okay.
Feel the calm. Feel the zen. Big breath. Feel your brain. And it always sounds weird when I say, can you feel your brain?
I think so.
I can feel, you can feel your brain. There's an active, and it's an alertness and like a zen, but like a spidey sense of alertness.
Yeah, that's really cool. Wow, that is really incredible, Sheila. I just think that is so neat that you've created this. So what can we do if we don't have access to this equipment right now?
So we're coming to you. It won't be long. We're really spreading across the country and across the globe, but there's little exercises you could be doing to help strengthen your vestibular system. The early easy ones is just to put your thumbs out and hold your head still and just use just your eyeballs to move from your left thumb to your right thumb to your left thumb to your right thumb. And how fast can you do it? Fascinating. But then same thing, if we tip it up to down, same thing, I'm moving my eyes up and my eyes down, up, down, and really focusing on those thumbs.
Okay.
The big challenge, can you do it even just spinning a little bit in your kitchen?
Okay.
Add to the skills as you're starting to do it. So there's lots of different little tiny things you can be doing, but really connecting those eyes to the ears and really having that cognitive system react to the movement.
Who else is kind of aware of spinning is good for the brain?
Well, we've been moving through, I move through sports so easily. So like we really have been working with some professional teams, which is really exciting to see the scope of so many athletes using our product and applying it, especially in lots of different ways with our master trainers, even adding oxygen to it and red light therapy and other neuro products like NeuroTracker and Dynavision and Zeus and Maverick and balance tracking systems and Neuronics and NeuroCatch, and oh my gosh, there's all these wonderful products out there that we've really worked to team up to come together. Yet at the same time, the goal is, of course, the general public, working with children with autism, working with children in schools, ADHD kids, dyslexic kids. All of them can benefit with vestibular training. But then the group expands. What about military and post-concussion and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's in the whole fall prevention group? All of these, anyone with a brain can benefit from vestibular training.
What about adults with maybe undiagnosed ADHD or undiagnosed head trauma? How does that happen to where people don't know they have these things?
We don't understand a lot of pieces of ourselves, and that introception, I believe, is something that has really, we assume athletes have it, and we assume as we age we know what's going on with our bodies. But I think a lot of people have learned to tune that out. Like, oh, my knee hurts, ignore it. Oh, my back hurts. I didn't sleep well last night. Tune it out, just go forward. And really, with a lot of the technology and the tracking systems, we really can learn more about ourselves through this process too. How much our balance can improve, how much faster our brain can move. All of these things can change, and it's that neuroplasticity that allows the brain to do unlimited things.
Okay, so you can possibly improve your balance,
Your
spatial, cognitive,
and sleep.
and sleep. Okay, and sleep is a biggie. So many people worry so much about sleep or don't realize how important it is. And what kind of improvements have you seen in some of the people that have been on your equipment?
Well, with new tracking systems, of course, on Apple Watch, those Aura rings have been very, very popular. So Aura rings can really help track your sleep. What we're finding even in our PTSD groups and our athletes is that they just dropped into REM sleep better and faster. Now, I can't stop the kids or the dogs from interrupting your sleep. That's still going to happen. But you can sleep better. And of course, as humans, boy, that's when the brain cleans itself, and that's the zen that you really need, is really good sleep.
I find it fascinating that this came out of ice skating and then all these other sports can benefit from it, but then everyday people can as well. And it just sounds like you can help so many people. Let's talk about seniors that maybe have a grandchild with ADHD. Share with us one of your best success stories about how a child improved.
One is just activity. Once again, less screen time, more activity, that whole vestibular system moving, flipping, turning, being active is really key for the grandchildren to stay active. It's tempting to be like, sit still, sit quiet, stop moving, get onto the couch nicely, versus flipping onto the couch, all of the things that really children need to move. But we have so many success stories with children. But my favorite is a young boy with ADHD who, even at 14, wasn't staying dry at night. And so even after just 2 sessions with us, he improved dramatically. And of course, a lot of those primitive reflexes quieted down, and he was dry. And what that would do for him to have friends over and sleepovers and spend the night at other people's homes. He was really a whole opening for this child's life.
I'm just thinking what a flip that is in my brain, the idea of kids, you know, kind of running wild in the house and all of that's actually really a good, healthy thing.
Think of how we were raised. You know, we ran and played. Remember those big metal spinning? You fell off it, you broke your wrist. It was the best day ever. Kids need to run and play and break a wrist, and that's just fine. It'll heal. But the activity and the movement and the brain and all of that has to stay active. They can't sit on their butts in school for 8 hours a day. Neither can seniors. They have to stay active. You can't sit on your butt 8 hours a day and just look at a screen or not be moving. You need to be active. And there's so many great community projects out there that are available. Walking programs, water aerobics, of course, vestibular training, the gym, even just moving up and down stairs.
Well, and that's something that looks simple can make such a big difference. So get really curious about what's out there that can make a big difference in your health. Thank you so much for putting all this together and going out there and sharing with the world the importance of the vestibular system.
Thank you for having me.
It has been absolutely a joy. And thank you for tuning in. If you have questions about this topic or anything else that we cover, please reach out to us at 316-686-4500 or email us at empoweringseniors@kpts.org. I'm Katherine Ambrose, and I'll see you on the next Empowering Seniors.